Hello everyone, this is Dave from Dave's Recent Things. Have you ever heard that knock on the door and you're like, who is it? And then they ring the doorbell and you're like, oh my god, it must be an emergency or something. You run to the door and it's a solicitor. It's somebody trying to sell you something. It has happened to me several times. I'm going to say probably 8 to 10 times now when I'm working. I do work from home, which is great for my full-time job. I'm sitting here, I'm working, I hear a knock. A few minutes later, I hear the doorbell, then they're knocking again, so I think it's an emergency. I stop what I'm doing, I run upstairs, and they're trying to sell me something yet again. I'm not going to name the company that does it, but it's a telecommunications company here in Ontario. Tisk, 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 tisk. But it got me thinking, how about I put up a sign that says no solicitation, but within a wreath? Today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the crisscross method with 10-inch deco mesh on a round wire wreath frame with that little sign right in the middle. No solicitation. Let's see if it works. Why don't I just get started and I'll show you what I made. I'm using the 14-inch wire wreath frame from the Dollar Tree. This 10-inch by 10 yards deco mesh in white and teal. Here's my no solicitation sign, do not knock. Some varying sizes and colors of ribbon, and I'm using 2 different colors of pipe cleaners today, along with my regular crafting utensils to create this project. So I have my wire frame here. We're going to create a working wreath frame with my 2 colored pipe cleaners. These are just regular size pipe cleaners, one in white, one in teal color. And to attach that, I'm going to use the 2 inner wires first, along with those crossbars, anchors, whatever you want to call them. And I'm going to take my first white pipe cleaner and I'm going to attach the first 2 inside wires and that crossbar. So I'm just making sure those 2 wires on the inside of my pipe cleaners, twist it around, and then I'm just going to fold it on the inside, grab my next pipe cleaner, and we're going to do the same method. Wrapping it around the 2 inside wires and that crossbar, twisting it a couple of times, making sure it's nice and secure. Then I'm just going to flatten it so it's easier to attach the rest. I've finished all the inside and I have 6 attachments. Now I'm going to go in the middle on the 2 outside wires, right in the middle there where I'm pointing, and I'm going to attach my other pipe cleaners. So we're still using the white pipe cleaners, and I'm going to insert that into the middle hole, wrap it around the 2 outside wires, give it a good twist a couple of times, making sure it's nice and secure, and I'm going to lay it flat again. Then we're going to move on to the next section. So right in the middle on the 2 outside wires, that's where we're going to attach those outside stems. Again, just feeding it through, wrapping it around a couple of times, making sure it's nice and secure. And we'll just continue on doing that same process all the way around using my white. When I'm done, I have 6 in the middle, 6 on the outside, and I'm going to use my teal color, so my second color. For this, we're going to go exact opposite of the white. So we're going to use the 2 outside wires, the 2 inside wires, 2 outside wires, and we're going exact opposite where we've placed the white. So to start, I'm going to use the 2 outside wires and the crossbar, attach my pipe cleaner on there, lay it flat, and then I'm going to move inside the middle with the inside wires with the blue. So again, we're just going around our wreath frame, attaching those blue stems the exact opposite location of where we placed the white ones just previously. And I'm going to go around the entire wreath doing that, attaching those blue pipe cleaner stems in the center, on the outside, all the way around. So when we're done, we have 12 in the center. Of the white, there's 6. Of the blue, there's 6 in the middle. And then on the outside, we have the white and blue. So the white, there's 6, and the blue, there is 6. So it's 12 and 12 with a total of 24. Don't get discouraged. It looks like a lot, but we'll make it simple and easy for you to create this wreath. I've got my ruler, my working wreath frame, and here's my deco mesh. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in a couple of inches, and then I'm just going to gather the end of our deco mesh, gathering it together with my fingers, and then I'm going to open up my first pipe cleaner stem, and I'm using the white to start. So for this round, we're only going to concentrate on the white pipe cleaners. We're going to forget about the blue ones for now. We're only going to work with the white. Twist that in place, and then I'm going to grab a cable tie on the innermost wire, wrap that around the deco mesh and the inside wire, and I'm just going to pull it really, really tight, making sure it's nice and secure and it's not going to go anywhere. Cut that excess off, and we have our anchor all established. And now we're ready to start our crisscross poof method. Now I'm going to start with the white like I explained before, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put those up so they're standing up so I know where I'm going, and I'm only going to attach to our white pipe cleaners to start. This is the crisscross poof method, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stretch out my deco mesh, measure at 10 inches, gather it together, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the next open white pipe cleaner, which is on the outside. So it's almost like a zigzag pattern that we're doing. And you'll see just a little bit later on why we call it the crisscross method. So right now, I'm just attaching that deco mesh inside the pipe cleaner, measuring out the 10 inches. We're doing 10-inch lengths for all of our poofs. Now I'm going to go to the inside white pipe cleaner. So again, it's like a zigzag. I'm going to place the deco mesh in between the two stems, twist it around a couple of times, and then I'm just going to poof it out as I go. Again, measuring out that 10 inches, going to the next available white pipe cleaner, twisting it right in place, making sure it's secure, and I'm going to move on to my next one, and I'm going to fill that all up. When I get to the very end, we're going to use the very first pipe cleaner stem we use, so I'm measuring out the 10 inches as we've previously done. Then I'm going to gather it together and attach it to our first white pipe cleaner stem where we started our poof method with this deco mesh. Again, placing it right in between those two pipe cleaner stems, twisting it in place a couple times. Then I'm just going to chop off the excess with my scissors, fluff it up a little bit, make sure it's nice and poofy. And we have our first round all done, attaching to the white. Now we're going to attach to our teal color. For me, I'm just going to use one roll of the same deco mesh, but if you want, you can always choose a second deco mesh, for example, white or whatever color you want. For me today, I'm going to use the same color of deco mesh, but like I said, you can use two different colors if you want for this method. Two different colors would be perfect for the crisscross method. Again, starting off, gathering it all together, and then we go to our first available blue pipe cleaner, which I'm going to start right in the middle there, wrap that pipe cleaner right around the deco mesh, and then I'm going to grab another cable tie and do the same thing we did right at the very beginning, wrap it around the inner wire and the deco mesh, pulling it really tight, making sure it's nice and secure, chopping off that excess. Then we're going to measure out the 10 inches, and then we're going to go crisscross again with our blue stems. So now I'm only concentrating on using those blue stems or those blue pipe cleaners, and I'm just fluffing it up as I go, and I'm going to make sure that I'm using that crisscross method. So we're going kind of a zigzag pattern, measuring out the 10 inches, going to your next available pipe cleaner stem. And while I do that, I'm going to make sure that I'm not squishing the previous poof, or I'm not hiding all of the other pipe cleaner stems. So you can kind of see me poofing it up, making sure those pipe cleaner stems are all still visible, and I'm not really squishing anything down or hiding it with that deco mesh. So I like to poof it up as I go, and then I continue measuring on those 10 inches, doing that zigzag pattern, which creates this crisscross poof method wreath that I am just loving right now. And of course, like I said before, you can use two different colors of deco mesh. It looks really, really well. And when I get to the very end, I do the same thing. I just start off just by adding it in there, cutting off the excess, and then I'm just going to poof the rest of that deco mesh up, and we have our base wreath all ready to go to decorate. To decorate our wreath today, I'm using a couple of different ribbons, and I'm cutting them at 11 inches. So this is a 2.5 inch fuchsia colored wired ribbon. I also have a 1.5 inch multicolored ribbon I'm going to cut at 11 inches as well, and this light blue peacock baby blue color 1.5 inch ribbon. My ribbon cuts today: for the 2.5 inch pink ribbon, I'm doing 12 cuts at 11 inches. The 1.5 striped ribbon, 6 cuts at 11 inches. The 1.5 light blue ribbon, 6 cuts at 11 inches. And that is about 22 feet of ribbon. Once I've got my cuts done, I'm going to fold it in half, cut on an angle, and that's going to create our dovetails. I'm going to do that for both sides of all of my ribbon. And once that is all done, I'm just going to gather up my ribbon together, clean up my surface a little bit, as you can see here. And then I'm just going to place my ribbon off to the side for now, and going to prep my sign just by adding a little hot glue right at the end on the sides, adding those pipe cleaners right into the hot glue, pushing them in there, and I'm going to use my handy dandy tool to push it into the glue, and then I'm going to add a little more hot glue after that, and then I'm just going to put that to the side to let it completely dry. This is how we're going to attach it to our frame. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off the pipe cleaner stems, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the 6 inner blue colored pipe cleaners. So we have 6 stems already attached, and we're going to leave those, and I'm going to cut the excess ribbon, or sorry, the excess pipe cleaner stems off. All I'm going to do is leave those 6 blue inner pipe cleaner stems. That's how I'm going to attach the ribbon, using those pipe cleaner stems that I'm leaving behind. Of course, your colors may vary, but it's going to be 6 of the inner ones that we're leaving. And you can see here, once I've cut everything off, we have those 6 blue ones all ready for our ribbons. To place the ribbons, I'm going to grab one piece of the pink, one piece of our light blue. Then I'm going to grab another piece of the pink ribbon and do it on a little X. So all I'm doing is I'm placing the ribbon down in an X formation, laying those ribbons down, gathering it right in the center, giving it a little bit of a pinch in the middle, and then we have our first ribbon bundle all ready to attach to our wreath. Now is the time that we're going to attach it to those 6 pipe cleaner stems right in the middle. Place the ribbon in the middle of those 2 stems, wrap it around a couple of times, making sure it's nice and secure. Then we're going to cut off the excess. You can fluff it up a little bit now if you want, like I'm doing, or you can wait until the very end. I fluff up all the time, let's face it. So now I'm going to do the exact same procedure of layering the 2.5 and 1.5 inch ribbon on top of each other on an X formation, gathering it in the middle, placing it right between those 2 pipe cleaner stems, and attaching our ribbon on there. Now, I know there is no bow today. I know I always usually do a bow, but I don't think we need a bow today. I'm just going to keep adding those ribbons on there, gathering it at a center, and I think that's more than enough ribbon, because I really do want to see that teal and white color deco mesh come through as well. I don't want to cover it up too much. Then once I have all my ribbons in place, I'm going to place my sign right in the center, wrap those pipe cleaners from the sign around the inner wire frame, just twisting it a couple of times. Then I'm going to cut the excess off, flip it over, making sure it's nice and secure and where I want it. And then, of course, my favorite thing to do is fluffing everything up. But before I do that, I decided I'm going to add these kind of a bluish color. These are just pom-poms that I had in my stash. Just going to hot glue them right in the center to cover up those pipe cleaner stems so we don't see them. And of course, now I'm going to fluff up everything even more, because I am addicted to fluffing. And once I'm done fluffing, here's our sign: no solicitation, don't knock or ring the doorbell, don't make it weird. I love that sign. It totally made me laugh, totally made me smile. And I'm going to see if this actually works so I don't get any solicitation at my front door. And of course, here it is on my door. Loving the colors. I'm loving how that pink ribbon just comes alive against that teal and white deco mesh. The colors just make me smile, and I hope this wreath makes you smile as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new project. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.